on for the most pressure you can be. But today I'm going to just go through 10 problems and give you some tips and tricks, because every single time that we do one of these problems, or I do, I there's like a theme to it, right? Or a principle or something you can grasp that you can use for every other problem you'll solve in this list. And what list I'm talking about is the list that Terry gave me, a list of problems. And so this week, or the past 2 weeks, I've been working on this one called Capture Race, right? And so it's all about counting liberties and trying to win the fight. So anyway, let's begin. So have 10 questions lined up, and we're gonna look through them. So in this problem, we see that white here has 3 liberties, black only has 2, and then is very heavily encased. And so the first thing I do is obviously I count the liberties and figure out ways and how to shorten them. This particular question, the key to finding the answer is to shorten your opponent's liberties. To do that, right now white has 3, and so if I play this throw-in move, which normally white answers by eating it, kind of surprised, but when white plays for this, now it's 2 liberties versus 2 liberties. So very simply, I just win the capturing race, right? So this was a little easier. Let's just show the other one that usually comes up. One thing about Weiqi 101 is that they have multiple answers, and so multiple things can happen. But let me show you the one that I thought would have happened. So if I do this throw-in move, white captures, you Atari, and then white connects, right? And so now white has 4 liberties. So I had to make sure to read all these moves first and then count the liberties. And then I have to figure out if I have enough liberties to do this. If I just play here, then white can just kill me. White can play here, 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 and then I'm dead, right? Like, well, black's gonna die. So if we go back, the key is to now not only shorten your opponent's liberties, but the other key phrase or principle that I've learned from these problems is to make as many liberties as possible that you can. So in this case, by playing this move, I still only have 2 liberties, but white can't play here, right? So when white plays here and I capture and white plays this, well, now I have 3 liberties versus white's 4. So I enclose, plays like this. I enclose, plays like this. White breaks the eye, I enclose, and then I can win the capturing race. So this is a pretty hefty read. It's 15 moves, and then you have to like read even the liberties inside here. So this is why, you're gonna have to work your way up to this. But on problem 1, they start like very easy. So you got to go through at least 600 questions to get to this difficulty. So don't feel too worried about it. But the what I wanted to teach really is the importance of shortened liberties, right? So this shortens white's liberties and puts it in a clump, and then extending your own liberties. Because once you have this like 4-space capture, it looks like it's only 3 liberties, but in reality it's like 5. So 1 liberty, 2 liberty, 3 liberty, 4 liberty. So it's like 5. It's like 5 turns, right? And so that's why I want you guys to understand with this one. We'll move on to the next one. So with this problem, once again, when I'm playing white, well, not once again, but I'm playing white, and the first thing that I do, this is where the once again comes in, is I count the liberties, right? So I can see that black, this is the weak group for black, right? Like, this is very strong, so there's no way that the problem's gonna involve killing this. But this is the group that's surrounded, and so it only has 3 liberties. White, on the other hand, only has 2 liberties, and it's looking pretty sketchy. If I just play directly here, then I think black can set up a ko if he wants to. So if I play here, black has 2 liberties. Black can play this inside move, and then white takes, and then it becomes a ko. So then the ko becomes really dangerous. So I don't want a ko. I want to see if I can find something better. In this case, the key word for this problem is to find a way to make more liberties. So by playing here and connecting, I change my 2 liberties into 3 liberties. 1, 2, 3. And then when he takes this move, 1 my liberties, technically I only have 2. But because of what in English we call a shortage of liberties, um, if black plays here, black's going to get captured. So black can't play here, meaning that this is an extra secret liberty that is you can't see on the board. You have to understand that black has to connect here first, which takes his turn. So it's like having 3 liberties even though you only have 2. So now if I clamp here, white can't play here. I mean, black can't play here because it will die. And black can't play here because black will die. So you win the race, right? We finish it up.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Mhm.
another way to refer to that secret liberty is an approach move, right?
Yeah. 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 I haven't heard that in a while, but yes, that sounds right to me. So if it, I guess, how would you explain it, Terry?
Well,
That like
that, you have to look and see what black has to play in order to play at T19. And that's
okay.
the approach move.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So a lot of these capture races, when you're in these tight quarters, if you can create these approach moves, then you get an extra turn without like it looking obvious. So this will work really well against double digit Q players because they just can't see these approach moves yet until it's too late. All right, so
So,
I'll move on.
Michael, I think Janice Kim has a theorem in one of the books about how to count the liberties.
You're probably right. I don't recall. And I don't know if I use it instinctually or not. But what I do, do is definitely count the liberties and think of the approach move. So unfortunately I don't have the Janice Kim theory, but if you do find it, so let's say if you review it over the week, please let us know for next. Um, so thus far we've covered shortening the liberties, right? Like playing this throw and move to shorten, and then extending your own, right? In both cases, you can play a move that extends your liberties. This is a different theory, and this theory is the most common saying that you'll hear when it comes to capture races. And it's pretty much I versus no I. So my instincts. This was actually to me a very hard problem because I was trying to live. If I play here, then white can play here and break my eye. Same with this, and so I can't really live, and I don't have many liberties. I only have 3 liberties. And over here, if I play here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 turns before I can even touch this group. So this isn't the right approach either. So what I needed to find was the principle or the theory to break my opponent's eye and make my own eye. So in this case, Q19 breaks this potential eye here. Once I play it, then white breaks the eyes, so I can't make 2 eyes, and even takes away one of my liberty, because you can see now I'm down a liberty. But because I can not only break this eye, but now make an eye, white can't do anything really here. So let's try and explain that a little better. So if white just backs off here, as long as you have one eye, white can't approach here. So like I can just play anywhere I want, right? So I'll just play here. White can't play here because it'll get captured. So because of this, it's perfectly safe because this liberty is always safe. Even if we do these like throw-ins, when black comes out with one eye and white can never play here. So this is another part of that shortage of liberty or approach move. But the idea is that as long as you break this eye and then make your own, you're gonna be okay. So these are the first instincts that I look for after doing just the basic, like, okay, Atari, try and live, and when I can't find these, then I'll come to this principle. So this is another tip. I know me just telling you this isn't going to make you a master, so you're gonna have to do the problems, like, in, like, you know, and go through it yourself, of course. But I'm hoping that me just giving you these, like, keywords and, like, showing you how they work, they'll be uh, a seed, right, in your mind, and then hopefully it will blossom. Okay, so this problem, first thing, as I always do, is I count the liberties. So black has 4 liberties here and is very surrounded. So this is probably the group that I want to kill, compared to this one where I won't be able to kill these 2 stones easily. In this case, white also has only 2 liberties for both groups. And so this is a very tight situation, right? If white only has 2 liberties and black has 4, you think black would be able to win. But in this case, there's a few ways to go about it. The first way that I looked was setting up the approach moves, right? Making the secret liberties. So right now, this is only 1 liberty here, but when I play this move, black has to take it, because if black plays here, then black will get killed. So this is that, extra turn, or that secret liberty that I was talking about, making the approach move. And now, once white plays here, it ends up getting 1 eye, and black has no eyes. So of course, with the problem ending, you can't see everything. So let's go through it. So what does black do here, right? Does black Atari on this side, or does black take on this side? Black can't play here, so maybe black takes. But then once you play this, if black takes on this side, you just have to play something like this, and black doesn't have time to kill these groups, right? And it's all because of the 1 eye versus the no eye. So in this case, what did I wrote down the principle for this, but in this case, you can find the move that gives you the most liberties. In actuality, so this one causes a sacrifice, but I wanted to read further and see if I could get away without even sacrificing, and I found the answer was yes, right? So when white plays this move and makes the eye, black still has to play this move, because if black plays here, then white will be able to kill it. So this approach move is already protected, and then you can just win the fight, right? So, I gotta ask, is everybody, like, still with me, or is this a little boring? Should I just, like, sky through these and give you guys the problems?
No,
I think it's good to hear the explanation.
yeah.
Okay, all right, cool.
I struggle a lot with the capture race stuff, so I think this is super useful. I know the counting the liberties is like such a basic thing that I like never do for some reason.
I get it. Trust me, I get
Yeah.
it. A lot of the times, especially if you're a trial by error player, you just keep playing and playing and playing, and you, like, see the shapes that work and kill you, and you see the shapes that aren't, right? So then you just get used to not reading, but that's a bad habit, right? Well, our
Right.
habits should always be that we should be counting liberties, thinking of these principles of approach moves and making more, and breaking eyes and making eyes. If you use these tactics, I assure you, your problems will become easier, which will make your games a lot easier. So
Another thing I'd mention is that when you start at the very beginning of this set of problems, they are so incredibly easy and reassuring, and it's tempting to not bother to think about counting the liberties and looking for the eyes and stuff like that. But I think if you start at the beginning there and start to do that for every problem, the harder ones will get easier.
yeah, I agree. I know what you're talking about, Terry. So for me, like, a 10 cube problem is nothing, right? I can finish it in like that, because I've done them so many times. But it's still very important for me to take my time and count the liberties and look for the principles and techniques, and even if I know the answer, just to verify it, right? Because if in a game, if it was life and death, and, like, the whole game relied on this capture race, if I don't second evaluate it, right? Like if I don't take the time to evaluate it, then I could make a reading mistake and bam, there goes the whole game. So I understand what
It
you're saying, Terry.
it reminds me of that scene in Iron Man when he's like trying to shoot the guy and he's like, I'm eyeballing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how
yeah.
I feel. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
that's about right. I'd probably be fine here. Probably why he's
Yeah.
fighting so much.
Right. So, all right. So these problems, these are some of the hardest problems for me, and yet they're the most simplest answers. So the thing is, I read like surrounding white, right? Like if I'm trying to surround white or take away its liberties. Right now, white has 4 liberties, and I only have 3. And when I play here, I still only have 3, and then it's white's turn. So I read this, I read breaking the eye, I read everything and everything, right? And then the answer is just here. And
Sure.
so well, the
Yeah,
reason,
make more liberties, connect, straight shape.
yep, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 liberties, right? 1, 2. Yeah, that's a good count. So it's 6 liberties versus the 4. So yep, you just win. And these are literally some of the hardest problems for me because I'm always looking for like the secret techniques, right? I gotta do the ninjutsu, right? um, but yeah, if you try doing anything normally, you'll get poked out, right? White will play here, and then we'll be able to push in and kill you. So in this case, if you extend down, you're shorting yourself a turn, right? You had 3 liberties, and now you still have 3 liberties. So now it's white's turn, and you just poop the bed, So remember even the most simplest of basics, which is if you can have more liberties than your opponent, then most likely you're gonna beat him, especially if you have like 2 more liberties. All right, so this one, this was actually a pretty difficult problem for me at first. I definitely had to take my time. A lot of these problems I had to take a bit of time, to be honest. I did them last night and then wrote things down for them, and then revisit them in the morning. I really didn't want to embarrass myself on camera. But anyway, so for this one, we have eye potential, right? So if black plays here, it's gonna have a good eye potential and possibly 2 eyes, right? And a connection. So the first thing I had to look at was breaking the eye, right? So now I only have 2 liberties. And if I play here, I might embarrass myself. Usually black plays here. But if I play here, then I only have 2 liberties. It'll be black's turn, and then I'll die. So I can't play here. Now I'll actually have to think on camera, because black didn't play this one before. Weichi 101 tripping me up.
I
I'm
love
thinking-
how they don't always play the same way.
But it seems to be the same answer. So the idea.
What about the wedge
Uh,
at T18?
T18.
Yeah,
18.
next to because wouldn't that let you connect underneath or on top potentially? That could be totally wrong.
Let's see. So if we wedge, for black, I would just play S17. So then white only has 2 liberties, and then what can white do then? I think white would just get smoked. We'll try it after. But the answer that I've come up with that looks like it works, and maybe I could be wrong. Let's see if the embarrassment happens. But first I broke this eye, and now I'm gonna break this second eye. And if black connects under, now I can Atari on this side. And yep, as he can't connect here, because then I would just kill everything. So the answer was to break both eyes. So this is like a double principle. We can try yours, Jory, but I think when black plays here, now white only has 2 liberties. So what would you do next as white?
I guess I would die.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think so.
My immediate thought was like, oh, there's a connection to be made there, but there's no way to get out. So I see that doesn't work.
Right. And I get it, right? Because you were looking for the secret technique, right? The special move. you're trying to find your ninjutsu. But if we
Exactly.
follow the principles of like breaking the eyes, and also just trying to shorten the liberties of the weak group, right? Like this is the weak group. So as long as we try and shorten the liberties here and make sure he can't make eyes, then we can kill him. So that's it. All right, on to the next one. So this one, problem 620. This is break the eyes. So I was first. I always read just surrounding it, just giving it a gentle hug. I think I even explained that in this one, right? Like first I surrounded this, and then seeing if it worked. Because a lot of the times the most simplest answer is the correct one. The further you get, that's not true. But for most games in general, like the first thing you want to do is surround on the outside. So if I play here, white will Atari. I can't let this die, right? So I have to connect, and then white can make 2 eyes. So this is very, very simple for white. You could try and read further. So if you play here, white plays here, then you Atari, and then white takes. White now has a effect. So if black plays here, then white doesn't have to respond and can squeeze this down. If black takes, then it's a whole very complicated stuff. So instead of going through that, when I played here, white plays here, I play here, and then white plays here. This is the key point, right? This is the vital point. So this is the next move that I'll try once this one fails. So at this point, when I play it, white has 2 liberties. So if I play here, white still has 2 liberties. And so even if white tries to squeeze down, now you can Atari and then kill. So white doesn't have time to squeeze these 3 stones. So these 3 liberties stay strong. And it's by taking what they call the belly, like hitting the belly Tetsuji. This is breaking the eyes, right? And so it follows that principle that we've seen. Break the eyes, make the eyes, break the eyes. So we're almost done. Let's get through this. This one was really hard for me too. It's very difficult. Let me read the principle. So okay, for this one, I needed to make a sacrifice, and these can be tough for me too because who wants to lose stones, right? Like I don't want to sacrifice if I don't have to, but in this case we have to. So if I play here, white will clamp down. White has 3 liberties, and then I only have 2. If I play here, really, let me just see. No, white wouldn't play here because then he would get swallowed. So instead, white would play this one. In fact, I'll just do some like tries so you see it. So if white plays here, then black can't play here because black will die. But the hard thing for me to find was to be okay with this getting sacrificed. So if I Atari here and white plays this, then white's gonna die. So white will take, and then black gets the take. So this is how that sacrifice works. It took me a while to find it because this doesn't work, right? Like white will just push down on you and kill you, and just pretty much anything else won't work. So we have to push here and then make the sacrifice. I don't know if I explained this one as well as the other ones. Maybe it's because I have trouble with these sometimes too, but sometimes you just gotta find moves where you're okay to lose a little bit to keep the rest, right? You can lose a finger, but you don't want to lose the whole hand. So I'll move on to the next one. But those ones are pretty difficult for me. And this one was even more difficult. So I'm also really bad at judging Seki or dual life situations. It's definitely one of my biggest weaknesses because when I'm doing problems, right, I just want to kill everything or I want to live, right? I don't think about dual life. That's very complicated. But in this case, if you make an eye and then you take this, and then you play here, white gets a ko and you get a ko, and so it's almost like a double ko. But white can never play here as long as you have either a stone here or a liberty here, because when white plays here, once the ko continues, white's gonna die. So this problem is once again another one that like I just have a lot of trouble finding the answers for. But some of these problems require sacrifice, and some of these problems require dual life. So the more you do them, the better you'll become. So this is also dual life, right? White can't play here, and so both groups live. So yeah. All right, this is the last one, and then we can stop the embarrassment. So black needs to play a move, and this actually, I'm gonna ask you guys. So I'll give you the principle. This is very similar to the first problem we looked at in this whole lesson, which is to find moves that shorten our opponent's liberties. Who wants to try and answer this? If you want, take a minute and think about it, and then you let me know. But yeah, so remember to count your liberties first, count your opponent's liberties. You can see this is the weak one compared to this one, so this is the focus.
Is S19?
Okay. I won't say if you're right or not. I'll ask you to keep reading and then tell me if it works.
Oh no.
I was actually going to suggest the opposite one. P19 is a throw-in to pop out that eye, and then you can put the whole group into Atari.
Okay. Well, I will say then that I think Pico is more right than Jory.
Oh, I was going to say the
as
opposite.
always.
Jory was more right.
I just need to think about the opposite of whatever I think usually.
Okay. I think maybe I can follow through on that.
Okay, so let's do it.
Okay.
So we're going to start with this.
Yeah. We start with S19, then the capture. Now, black has 3 liberties, and black will do an approach move at O19, and then Atari, and then Atari.
And there we go. Yep. So then this is using the principles, right? It was a good team effort. We had to find the first move first. And it's a hard move to find, I think, at first, because you have to sacrifice a stone, right? And then, like, you look at it and you're all like, does losing the stone even do anything? Well, what it does is it pushes this group into this wall. And so when white is forced to connect here, white has now kind of lost, like, 2 liberties. And so now you have the time to come back and kill it, which is just this, this beautiful transgression, right? Of, like, having to give up something to gain like something it's really nice. Of course, when I first did this problem, I started with just this, right? And so we can show, and when we look, if white just brings you down to 2 liberties, even if you Atari, here's an approach move and here's an approach move, so I can't touch either of these, right? And so I'm just dead, right? Like just dead. And so, like I said, I usually start with the outside moves first, and then I work my way in. But yeah, no matter what you try, it's not going to work out too well unless you can find the shortening your opponent's liberties. Awesome. So that's it for the lecture. What I will do now is I can send you the whole document. But what I was hoping was if you wanted to try for like the next 30 minutes or so to do as many problems as you can from the capturing race one. And if you have any questions, or, I'll be here to answer them. So I'll send you this link, hopefully, if I can figure it out. So I'll put it in this chat here. And I highly advise for anyone that wants to get better to go through this list. Admittedly, I would skip capture by shunt and capture direction, the first two. But because, and the reason being is because they're just mind numbing. Like, it's just like one move captures something. Like, I use it for the kids, you know? And I went through it myself, but man, it was mind numbing. I had to watch a movie while I was doing it. Um, but after 3 and 4, the capturing ones, every single one of these has been insanely useful and educational for me. Escape, Atari and capture, double Ataris, connect and die. That's a good one. Very similar to capture race, the connect and die. Snapbacks, nets, ladders, wedges. They're really, really all useful things. Highly recommend it if you want to reach a 1 dan level reading. Going through this teaches you every fundamental and basic you'll need. Eventually, I'll get to the Seki one, which is number 22, and that will probably enhance my gameplay quite a bit, considering it's one of my greatest weaknesses. So I'm looking forward to that. If there's any problems, or if it's like asking you to request permission, just let me know. And yeah, feel free to have fun. If you're muted, obviously, like I listen to music while I do problems, and I just have a good time. What I've mainly been doing is every morning before breakfast, I'll do 100 problems. Usually it takes me about an hour. If they're really hard and I only do 30 problems in the hour, then that's fine too. But I just try and do like an hour of problems before I eat. Like, I don't allow myself to have breakfast unless I do my problems. And that has been working well. I've definitely been on a lot of winning streaks. Not when I face the pros, of course, but I've been doing pretty well. Sorry, I didn't even mean to record this last part. I'll just